All right, guys, welcome back to Exotic Car Hacks. And today we are talking Bugatti. That's right. You have or may have seen that the new Bugatti Tourbillon, the successor to the Chiron, has finally been revealed. Now, it's been revealed to owners of Bugattis for quite some time. We were all not allowed to obviously talk about it. And here it is to the rear, and it has some incredible features. So today I decided to do a very quick video as a Chiron owner answering the ultimate question: is the new Bugatti worth ordering? Will I order it? And what do I think about it specifically? Many of you guys have DM'd me on Instagram asking about this, and so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So first off, this is my Chiron. For those of you that have not been on the channel for some time, I have had this car for now about a year and a half, and I absolutely adore it. It does and serves its purpose quite well. I think it's an incredibly good looking car. It doesn't need much modifications. I put a set of wheels on it. Wasn't even necessary, but I wanted to do something different. I personally really like the Chiron, and I will upgrade this eventually to a pure sport, but the argument here on the car itself is that I really like the lines and simplicity of the car. This is one of the reasons I opted to get a white color rather than some bright orange or bright blue or something more exciting, because of the understated and more exciting nature of the luxury of the car rather than just the sportiness. In the pure sport model, I would opt for something more colorful or exciting. But let's talk a little bit about comparing the Chiron base model to the actual new Tourbillon base model, because it isn't a pure sport or anything else. They are saying they will make about 250 units. Realistically speaking, Bugatti usually makes 500 units of their car across a couple of years. So we can probably expect 250 of the base car and then many other variations of 50 or 100 units coming out after that. But base for base, there are a few differences and pretty interesting ones. And we're going to talk about that. The main thing I think you notice on the car itself is the elongated nose and kind of the weirdly tilted headlights, which I find superb. I think the actual elongated nose is okay. It's not as classy as the old one, but I think the headlight design and kind of this 3D structure here, specifically on the new one, is mind-blowing. I think they did a superb job, but I think where they really went all in, because I personally prefer the front end of the Chiron to the new one, but I'll tell you one thing, I love the new headlights more than I love these. And something else about the car is new, so it's going to take a little bit of time for us to get used to the design and the eye of the design. But on the side of the car, I think that's where you'll notice some of the major differences between the new one and the old one. The old one being a little classier again, bulkier, and the new one being slicker and a much prettier look. But the ultimate change, in my opinion, is basically this section of the Chiron, which I never found to be strikingly beautiful, but the new one is just insane. With the entire carbon fiber motor, you still see a lot of carbon fiber here too, but it's just different. It's much more full, much more exposed, less hidden, and you get this much prettier back end, which I think is mind-boggling. So personally, I think they did an absolutely phenomenal job on the car. And finally, Bugatti today did an incredible job with their new car, as it was expected. It would have been a pretty big disappointment if they hadn't, right? Which I think is thing. But the ultimate part, I think the best piece of the car itself, the interior. Because one of my biggest complaints about the Chiron has always been how, while the craftsmanship of the interior is very well done, meaning like the buttons, everything feels nice, minus the window switches, which are very Volkswagen-ish, everything else is very high quality, including the dome light and everything. But to be fair, the new one is light years ahead with its steering wheel and its influence in watchmaking. And I think that's why it boasts the name Tourbillon. But I think the best part, in my opinion, of these cars is to look at them as mechanical art. And so to bring that art piece forward for Bugatti, I think is going to be a game changer for them. And I think the interior will absolutely seal the car for anyone that was thinking about Chiron or Tourbillon. But let's talk a little bit about price. $5 million. I was told by multiple reps when trying to order the car and how the process would work with the new car that most of them will come out right around $5 million unless you do carbon bodies and things that are much deeper, but the majority of them will already come with options kind of pre-packaged, and you'll need to pick colors and things like that to kind of create your own. But the $5 million price point seems to be where the majority will end up. That is almost a $2 million increase over the Chiron, which means that while people were thinking that the Chirons would depreciate when the Tourbillons come out, you're still light years ahead. We've seen the new hypercar market, as I've been talking about on the channel, move to the $5 million plus range. And we've seen the better basis of these hypercars previously start to settle between 1 to 5. So you can expect these cars to retain incredibly good value going into 2026, even after the Tourbillon comes out. And what's more incredible is the question of, will I be ordering it or not? So first, let's hear from our sponsor.
GrailZ.com is a reputable online platform specializing in auctioning high-end timepieces. Known for its transparency and security, it provides a reliable way to sell watches online. Focused on smooth transactions, GrailZ ensures a secure environment for both buyers and sellers. Prioritizing genuine buyers, the platform offers a premium selling experience for sellers and great deals for buyers on luxury watches. Explore GrailZ at GrailZ.com for top-notch service in the luxury watch market.
All right, so we are back. Should I be ordering the new Bugatti Tourbillon? The process is $500,000 up front and then another $1.5 million in at the time of specifying your car. Now, that's not a big deal. That's $2 million, which is less than 50%. It's a fair deposit. The problem with that is the same as the problem with the Countach. You see, because if you have billions of dollars, then yes, that's a fine proposition and you have nothing to do with your money anyways. Most of it is making money. But if you're still under, I want to say, the $200 million range, or even in a position where cash is still making you cash, it's a pretty steep proposition to tie away $2 million on a car that is unlikely to have upside during its first initial release. Historically, even though we want to believe that everything new and exciting is going to bring more money, cars that have breached that dollar range so high up will typically fall below MSRP fairly quickly within the first year time frame. Now, when I say below MSRP, I'm not talking about the car being $1 million less or anything, because it's still going to be relatively new and a good product, I assume. But for the most part, coming much further down in terms of like offering $200K off or $100K off for canceled orders, or the cars needing to move from dealerships that aren't going to be allocated. People have said the same thing about the Pure Sport. There are plenty of used Pure Sports for sale at MSRP. This is kind of the ideology between bringing cars that expensive to market. There's a very small pool for them. So personally, will I be buying a new Bugatti Tourbillon? Well, the answer is absolutely yes. I believe the car is striking, and when I have a chance to really drive it and see if I really want one, I'm 99.9% sure that it's going to be a home run and I should absolutely buy one. The difference though is I don't think that's going to be a car that I'll be ordering, because I'm not interested in tying up $2 million so I can pick a couple of colors and things like that. I'll be fine just hacking it my way and ultimately waiting for it to launch, getting a small discount, or even buying at MSRP without tying the $2 million. And then ultimately when I'm done with it, either upgrading it to the later, more racy model or anything in between. But in between that, you can expect this car to eventually be upgraded to a Pure Sport. I've said that and I am in no rush whatsoever to do that. However, as the right opportunity comes, I will 100% update this car and ultimately keep it in the collection next to the new one once it's actually available for sale on the ground. So in my opinion, the new Tourbillon, an incredible, incredible car from Bugatti, and very excited to see them bring this on the road and get a chance to test drive it. But on the other end, ordering one, not really for me specifically, not tying up $2 million over 2 years, as deliveries are probably going to end at the end of 26. They say early to mid 26, but we all know these things are always delayed. They had a very similar dilemma at Lamborghini with the Countach, with 112 cars made and requiring $1 million deposit up front. The issue with cars like that, and again, putting $1 million up front for a car that is now selling at MSRP and on the wholesale market $500,000 to $700K off of MSRP, is pretty crazy. I would argue that that's a really, really good opportunity, again, to not buy the car and buy someone else's spec. So my opinion, that's where it's at. Hopefully you guys learned something new from this video and understand a little bit about my thoughts on the Tourbillon. Again, make sure you tell me your thoughts in the comment. Do you think the car is that much hotter than the Chiron, or is the Chiron ultimately the classiest and last Bugatti? I mean, it is the last quad turbo W16. I don't think that's going to hold any bearing on the values of the car, but I do think that based on the new price point and where things are, this is basically going to become the best bargain Bugatti of our lifetime. So, of my lifetime anyways. Maybe some of you youngins will see another one after. Anyhow, it's been a pleasure, and again, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll catch you next time for Exotic Car Hacks.